No, it's working.
Okay, what I'm going to do is ask you to first tell me who you are, the name of your company, your annual sales of HVAC and service combined, and the size of your selling areas, to give the idea to the audience who you are and where you're coming from.
Okay. Are you asking me the question?
I'm asking you to that, and then I'd ask you to tell us all who they are.
Okay, I am Curtis Kinney. Kinney's Air Conditioning and Heating in Leesburg, Florida. We are in an area of approximately 13,000 people, and we serve 2 counties, which is a number of probably 100,000 people.
Good. Could you give me that, but give me a tight shot on him when he does it? That's good. Yeah, that's fine. Why don't you just give me that same thing back again, please?
Okay, I'm Curtis Kinney. Kinney's Air Conditioning and Heating.
I'm sorry. Start out without the okay, though, so I can just pick you up. All right?
Sorry about that.
Curtis, also talk about how long you've been in business and that kind of
Okay.
thing, too.
I am Curtis Kinney, Kinney's Air Conditioning and Heating in Leesburg, Florida. We've been in business here since 1976 at this location. Previous to that, we had another company that we started in 1964, which split up in 76, and I took on the exclusive Lennox dealership. This area is, the city is approximately 13,000 people, and we have a drawing area of approximately 100,000 people.
Okay. Can you tell us, we've already covered how long you've been. How long you've been a Lennox dealer?
I started in this business in the Navy. I went in the Navy in 1948 and went through a Navy air conditioning refrigeration training school. At the time, I remember I was offered a number of things, and I selected air conditioning and refrigeration because I knew nothing about it. At that time, I had no idea I was going to make this a life's career, except the first ship that I was assigned to, I spent 5.5 years on that ship and become the top dog in the refrigeration business there. So then I was transferred to shore duty in Charleston, South Carolina, then to a cruiser, and decided to get out after pulling 9.5 years in the Navy. But at the time, I had planned my future to be an owner of an air conditioning company. So that's how I started out, and here's where I am.
Okay. Give me real briefly how you got started in this business here in Leesburg, as far as how that got going.
In 1964, myself and a partner started a company that was a carrier and a Lennox dealership. I selected the Lennox at the time, and so we run that business for 12 years, and the partnership split up. I took the Lennox dealership and come here where I am now. He took the carrier dealership and went another direction. At that time, I decided to go exclusively Lennox and nothing else, and so that's what we're doing.
Okay. Tell me a little bit why being exclusive Lennox, or what that has to do.
I feel that Lennox is a major brand. There's very few in the air conditioning business. There's a lot of brands, but very few major brands. Lennox is one of the major brands. And I felt that Lennox would be behind me all the way, which they have. I look at it as something like an automobile dealership. I'm proud of my Lennox dealership, and I display it and try to emphasize it to a point to where my customers know that I'm in this business and not playing with it. We feel strongly about being a part of Lennox. This particular thing of just being in business is one thing, but being proud of the business you're in is another. And we're very proud of our business, and we do the best to make it that way every day.
Very good.
I'm not asking to expand to...
The reason
Also, one other thing. When I get through talking, if you just give me a little count of about 3 and start. So
okay.
I have me out.
Okay. I've got the okay in there every time. The Lennox dealership we were talking about, I feel so strongly about. We're dedicated to Lennox, And this particular thing is like an automobile dealership. We feel that this particular Lennox name has got to stand out above, and we're going to push on it just like a Chevrolet company would do with their automobile. Now, a lot of dealers, we understand and feel that they have to sell a number of different brands of equipment. We don't feel that at all. We feel that we have several different types of equipment with Lennox that we can elaborate on if the customer wants to look at several different ones. We don't have to come up with another name brand to do that. I've made the statement before that a Mercedes dealer would not have to have a Volkswagen also within his dealership in order to sell a customer. He could just sell him a Volkswagen with a lot less equipment on, or a Mercedes with a lot less equipment on it. So this is what we're looking at as selling the two-speed equipment. We're able to get a lot more money out of the equipment, but I think we're doing the public a justice by doing that, because we're saving them in the long run on their electric bill, and most of the people like this. They like to hear this lower electric bill because they know this thing is going to continue to go up every year.
That's super.
Really good.
I would like you to have you go back just one more time and give me a stab at this. If the person goes in the car business and decides to carry the best, he doesn't fill in with the worst. You don't see anyone offering Mercedes and Volkswagen. Just a condensed version of basically what you just said. Are you giving me some variants of the
Yeah, yeah. We're rolling. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, well, if a car dealer has a major brand car, I've blown that
That's
completely.
okay. Let's move on to something else, and we'll come back and maybe pick that
Our
up.
volume is in the retrofit and replacement.
You know, roll.
I stopped taking.
Okay.
Dave, also you haven't established sales volume yet. You might want to do it at this point.
Okay.
We're rolling, we have speed.
How big are you, and in what areas is that?
Our total business, total volume of business is around $750,000 worth of business a year. We do approximately $150,000 to $180,000 in service. Most of our volume of business is in retrofit or replacement business. And this particular business in replacement comes from the service department. We feel that if our service department grows, that our replacement business will also grow in direct relationship to that. I personally feel that in a few years there will be very few new houses because the area will fill up with those, but we can go back all the way to 1955 and look at people that started buying air conditioning at that time, and they've got to replace that equipment. So the replacement business is a growing thing. I have a feeling that in just a few years that we'll be looking at 90% replacement and 10% new jobs, and this is the business that we want to go after, and we have the equipment to do it with, and we have the story to tell the public. We have the operating costs they're looking for. So these are the things that we're heading for.
You already covered that. How do you market and promote your company? You want, I'm going to just give you, stop tape and, hey, please.
Stand by. And you have speed.
Okay.
We market our product through probably 3 different directions. We have some direct mail. Newspaper is one of the things. We are in the classified section every day in a little small ad with a Lennox logo. We have no idea what good it does for us, but we do know it does some good. Being there daily is a consistent thing that keeps that Lennox and Kinney's air conditioning in front of the public. If they're going to look at that paper, they're going to see our name. The other thing is we are on the group TV advertising. This thing I was reluctant to get involved in to begin with, but I've had so many comments on seeing you on television, or we seen you on television today, that I'm really enthused about it now, and I'm sure it does some good. I don't know how much good, and I guess I'll never know, but it does some good. So those are the 3 different types of advertising. Now, the only other thing that we have that's kind of unique is the fact that I have been around here for 30 years. And I know a lot of people. A lot of people know the kind of work that we do, and we don't do anything wrong as far as it goes, because if we do it wrong, we're going to redo it over again. And so this reputation is probably the biggest thing. I have had customers as many as 3 times since I've been in business. I have sold them units, and it wasn't because they wore them out, it's because they thought they should get them updated. And this is the truth, and they'll come again. And each time it's about twice the price, too. That's an amazing thing.
Okay, very good. Tell us a little bit about, I understand you were involved, your trucks were involved in a parade, and that got it out in front of the public. Apparently that is important to you, obviously, to keep your name in front of the public. And tell us a little bit about that.
We had a parade, an Armed Forces Day parade in Fruitland Park. It's a little town, a little suburb. We live in that suburb, so a lot of people there know us. We had a granddaughter that was a little beauty queen, so we were going to put her in the parade. We called the parade people to find out how many trucks we could put in the parade, and they told us as many as we wanted to. So we ended up putting 8 trucks in that parade with our little granddaughter as the beauty queen heading it off on one pickup truck. And so we felt by the 8 in line that the people would have to get a good look at us in that parade, and they did, and we got an awful lot of good comment from it. And we've sold a few jobs in direct relation to that.
Okay, give me that same thing, change your angle a little bit. Give me the same thing again, tell us how old your granddaughter was, why you felt it was important to be in it, and again, why you think that you got some of those sales.
Okay.
And Curtis, I thought that was kind of a cute sidelight you told earlier about your competitor. You called them, they were going to put 2, so you decided, hey, I'm going to put 8, and tell it just like that.
Okay.
Tell the way it was. Yeah.
Okay, the little town of Fruitland Park, which is a suburb of Leesburg, had an Armed Forces Day parade, which we entered our vehicles into. I called the person heading up the parade and asked him